A nation that misplaces its memory soon begins to quarrel with its own reflection. A society without memory becomes an orphan in time. It is condemned to inherit confusion from one generation to the next. This is why we need the recollections of those who have walked the difficult path before us. Today offers us such a solemn privilege to see Nigeria reflected in the memory of one of the nation's most enduring custodians, a witness whose life has become part of the archive of the Republic. Autobiography, when written by a life of consequence, is one of the noblest forms of national archiving. It permits a citizen to return to the arena of action with the humility of hindsight. It allows power to explain itself after the noise of the moment has faded. It gives the Republic access to the inner weather of decisions that once appeared to the rest of us as thunder on the distant horizon. That is why we are gathered here today. We are here because General Gowon has given Nigeria a volume of memory at a time when our country needs the discipline of remembrance. We are here because the story of a man who stood at the center of Nigeria's most testing years cannot be left to fragments, suspicion, and careless narration. We are here because the past, when honestly preserved, becomes a compass for the future. The timing is instructive. About half a century ago, Nigeria was confronted by a crisis that tested the imagination of the state and the endurance of its people. General Gowon belonged to that severe hour. History placed upon his shoulders the burden of a country struggling to remain whole. The decisions of that period cannot be understood by those who examine them with the arrogance of comfort. They must be approached with sobriety, because every generation that inherits peace must learn to speak gently about the choices made in the season of peril. When the guns fell silent, Nigeria needed more than the silence of weapons. It needed the language of return, the syntax of healing, and the assurance that citizenship will not be reduced to a verdict passed by the bitterness of war. The famous declaration of no victor, no vanquish entered our national vocabulary because it answered a deep need in the soul of the Republic. It told a bruised country that survival will have to be built on reconciliation, and that reconciliation will have to be strengthened by policy, patience, and trust. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that is one of the reasons General Gowon's story remains indispensable. He understood that unity cannot be sustained by speeches alone. Unity must be given institutions. It must be given rituals of encounter. It must be given roads, schools, service, federal balance, and shared experiences that persuade citizens to see one another as partners in destiny. The National Youth Service Corps, for instance, stands in that tradition. For generations, young Nigerians have crossed the rivers of language, faith, and culture through that program. Many discovered, sometimes for the first time, that a stranger from another region could become a friend, a colleague, a spouse, a mentor, or for the first time, witness to the vastness of Nigeria. The governor of Plateau State met and married his wife from Delta during his service here. General Gowon also represents a deeper rebuke to the merchants of division. In the lazy vocabulary of prejudice, the North is often misdescribed as one religious bloc, while the South is equally imprisoned in the stereotypes of those who profit from suspicion. His life compounds that poverty of imagination. Here was a Christian son of the North, a child of the North Central, a soldier, accepted across lines that others tried to harden into walls, a Nigerian whose example showed that identity can be carried without hostility. his story teaches us that the Nigerian project becomes stronger when a citizen refuses to become a weapon in the hands of sectarian entrepreneurs. General Gowon's place in history also travels beyond our borders. West Africa remembers him as one of the builders of regional cooperation. The formation of ECOWAS remains one of the great acts of political foresight on our continent. It was born from an understanding that neighboring nations must do more than exchange flags and ceremonies. They must exchange goods, ideas, security cooperation, diplomatic competence, and economic opportunity. In that vision,